We are right in the midst of the holiday season, so if you are a producer or a musician, or if you have a producer or musician in your life, you might be wondering, what are some gifts that I could ask for, or what are some gifts that I could purchase for somebody? If you're a producer, maybe you have a little bit of extra money, so you're looking to kind of get yourself something for your studio. I see people all the time ask me, Austin, I have a friend who's a musician. They're very particular with gear. Most of their gear is like $500, but I have a budget of $50, so what can I get them? What I wanted to do is kind of give you 10 suggestions that as an actual producer, if somebody got me these things, I would be very grateful for them. They could work themselves into my personal life or my workflow, and they're not things that are going to cost an arm and a leg, and they're not things that are going to sit and collect dust because maybe they don't fit my workflow or my style. So we're going to dive in and check all of that out. Before we do, my name is Austin. You're watching Make Pop Music. If you like this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We do videos every single Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. But let's dive in so I can kind of give you a gift guide / things that you might want to check out for your studio if you're a producer that are under $50. We've done videos like this in the past. I'll link them below. So if you want to check those out, those are also good gift guides, but we're not going to have any repeats on this. The first thing that I want to talk about is some actual earplugs. If you have somebody who is in the music industry in your life, when they go to concerts, they should definitely be wearing earplugs. I have these. These are called the Loop. They're these really, really nice, reusable, comfortable earplugs. They make a bunch of different versions. This version that I have pulled up on my screen, the Experience 2 Plus, they're great for canceling out noise. They're like $45. It is kind of expensive for earplugs, but that's why I think that this one in particular makes a really, really great gift. I use them all the time. I've used them at dozens of concerts and events this year. I think that if you have somebody in your life that is in studios, if they're performing music, their hearing is invaluable. I think that a $45 set of earplugs that they can always have, they come with a nice little case. That's a no-brainer. They have a bunch of different colors. I have the black on black. I think my wife has the gold ones. They make rose gold if that's more your speed, silver. There's a bunch of different styles as well. I do suggest to switch to. I think those are slightly above budget though, around $60. If you're trying to stay under 50, try the Experience 2 Plus. That's what my wife uses. She loves them. I cannot recommend them enough if you have a musician in your life. They need a set of really, really good earplugs for whatever loud experiences they're going to have. The next one that I want to talk about is a really good water bottle. Every producer or musician or engineer that I know is perpetually dehydrated. I think that I have seen people literally go 6 hours in a session without having a sip of water. It doesn't matter what brand you use. This is a brand that's getting really, really popular, Owala. These are cool because they have like zero spill lids, which is nice if you're around a lot of gear. They have built-in straws. They have, like you can just gulp this thing down if you are really, really behind on your water. I normally just have something really simple, like a nice little bottle with a straw. I don't know. There's different water bottle brands all over the place. You've got Hydro Flask, you've got Owala, you've got SM, you've got whatever people are talking about on TikTok. The brand doesn't really matter. I think just find one that kind of fits whoever in your life has a specific form factor. And then I always say that like the bigger the better up to a point. I think that it gets annoying if you do have something like I have right here, a 20-ounce water bottle. You're always in and out of the studio trying to fill it up. I think every producer should have a 40-ounce water bottle for long days that they're just going to be sitting at a desk, or if a musician's in a session. Everybody that I know is perpetually dehydrated. Get them a really, really good water bottle that's not going to leak. It's not going to make their water taste weird from sitting for a few hours. Really, really good gift. They have a bunch of colors on here as well. I might actually buy myself one right after this video. But let's go on to gift idea number 3, and that is custom guitar picks. If you have somebody in your life who plays guitar or bass or ukulele or any other kind of string instrument, what you can do is you can actually get custom picks made for them, where you can go to something like Clayton. I think Dunlop also does this. And you can order a batch of like 100 picks for $50. So if I were doing this, I would probably go with some kind of like black celluloid, or I would probably go with something like this white celluloid, or even colored Delrin. And then essentially you can select what you want. Then we're going to continue. You can pick your color. You can pick your shape. You can choose your gauge. This is really important if you have somebody in your life that plays guitar. Try to go steal one of their guitar picks. Pretty much every pick will have the millimeter on here. This one's worn off, but if I grab a fresh one, this one is 86 millimeters. And that's kind of what I like. I like something a little thicker. So I'd probably go 71. I don't want to go too thick. I like the standard shape. If they want a jazz pick, you could get them that as well. Again, just kind of reference what they have. You can choose two-sided print or one-sided print. For budget, we're going to do one-sided. We're going to select 100. And you can continue. And then once you get into here, you can add an image if you want. It normally will only print in black. You can add your text if you want. You can add a font style. So if somebody has a studio, if somebody is in a band, if somebody has a producer name, I think this is a really fun way to kind of get them something that they can have sitting in their studio. They can give to people that come through as a little memento. $39 for 100 picks is already a good deal as is, so try something like that out. The next thing that I want to talk about is an actual Elgato Stream Deck Mini. You've probably seen these all over the place for producers and gamers. They can get kind of pricey, however, there's this little mini one that's only 6 commands. I think it's slightly above budget at $57, but if you can find any kind of coupon or anything, I'm going to include this. Everything else has been well under budget. So for this, essentially what they can do is they can program little shortcuts, and you can say, you know, maybe I want this button to open up a new track in my DAW. Maybe I want this button to save everything and export. Maybe I want this button to align all of my vocals. Maybe I want this button to actually start my recording. And they can essentially cue this up however they want with some kind of software. And for $57, I feel like it could be cool just sitting on basically anybody's desk. If you're a musician, a producer, if somebody's doing video editing, if somebody does any kind of gaming, I think this is just a nice little addition for a studio. Getting the Mini for $57 feels like a super good steal. The next thing that you could get under $50 is if you know what their production style is or their music style is, you could get them something like sample packs or preset packs. We have a bunch at our company, Make Pop Music. We have a ton that are under $50. If we go over here, we just released a new pack, Mellow. We have guitar loops. We have samples and presets, all kinds of different genres. You could also go to a website like Drums That Knock by Decap. These are amazing sample packs if somebody's doing a lot of hip hop or a lot of R&B. If they're doing a lot of rock or like indie music, check out something called Drum Sample Shop. There's a bunch of stuff under here under that $50 budget. A lot of websites will also do gift cards. You could also get them inexpensive plugins. Valhalla DSP is a really good plugin company that has all of their stuff normally priced around $50. And if you can find gift cards for these places, even better. If not, if you're very comfortable knowing, like, I think that this is a pack that they've been asking for, or this is a sound style that they really prefer, this is such a cool gift. One of the people that we've actually collaborated with a ton in the past, Ash Taylor, you've probably heard me talk about them on the channel. We actually met them because their partner purchased quite a few sample packs and then actually custom drew out all of the box artwork that we had on our website and gave it to Ash. They reached out. I thought it was the sickest thing ever. We started following Ash. Now we've collaborated on a million things. You never know. Fun little gifts like that can be really personal. I think if you do something like that, let the company or the brand know. It's always extremely flattering and humbling to us if somebody gives something from our website as a gift. Also, you can normally reach out to these companies. I know Decap is great. I know Drum Sample Shop is great. We're always good with getting back to messages. Feel free to just DM a company on Instagram. Ask them some questions if you have them. Let them know you're looking for gifts, and they can kind of help sort you out. The next thing that I think makes a decent gift for producers is some kind of book. There's a ton of different books that you could do. One that pretty much every producer, every engineer has read or should read is called the Mix and Engineer's Handbook. This is by Bobby Owinski. This is a book that I got probably in 2016. It was like one of the first audiobooks I ever read. They also have the Recording Engineer's Handbook and the Mastering Engineer's Handbook. So if they want something that is really production specific, I think these books are great. They're essentially textbooks for mixing, producing, engineering, mastering. Super great. Another really popular one is the Creative Act by Rick Rubin. This is a bit more kind of inspirational. You're not going to find a ton of like practical advice in that, but it's really good for kind of getting somebody in the mood to create, kind of look at their creation process and kind of learn that there is no right and wrong ways to make music. I think it's a solid book. I think everybody probably should at least read it or skim it. Another option that you have for books is you could always get them some kind of business book, something about, project management if they're trying to turn their hobby into a business. Tons of different books. If you go to your local bookstore, they should have a whole music section. Ask them about it. If you don't have a local bookstore, you can always go on like Target or Barnes & Noble. But I think local bookstores will have really cool selections and they can kind of help curate your list for you. The next gift idea is a really fun one. This is called a Stylophone. It's essentially like a little $40 pocket synthesizer. And what it does is it comes with this little stylus and it's almost like a little theremin that you can essentially turn on and you can play all of your different notes. It's got a little speaker into it. I've seen a bunch of people convert these into something that has like a line output so they can actually record with them. I think that this is such a fun, cute little gift if you have a producer or a musician. You could always get them something like a harmonica or like tambourines and shakers or other instruments. We've talked about some of those before, and I just realized like I've never actually mentioned the Stylophone. This is something that if I open this from a friend, I would be super pleased. I think it's going to be a fun gift to actually like play with and enjoy. I don't think it's something like a book that's a little bit more practical. So if you want something a little bit more fun, if you want something a little bit more whimsical, I think a $40 Stylophone is a great gift. It's probably one of the only instruments that you'll be able to get for like under $100. The next thing that we'll talk about is some kind of room spray. I know a lot of producers and musicians don't really like candles in their studio. Candles can, put off ash and soot, and they can damage equipment. People can leave their candles going and burn down their studios. So every studio that I go to normally kind of uses room sprays. A solid one is the Volcano by Capri Blue. It's like $30. A brand that I use a ton in my studio is Voluspa. I also use Aesop, but I believe that their stuff is maybe a little bit over the $50 budget that we're doing in this video. But if you know what kind of scents they like, if you smell something that just smells clean, most studios can get pretty dusty smelling. They can get pretty stale just because there's a lot of gear collecting dust. There's a lot of people in and out. We're working long days. Studios get really hot and sweaty. I think a good room spray for a studio, great idea. Keep everybody smelling fresh. Keep everybody, feeling good. The next thing that I want to talk about is some kind of planner. This is a planner actually made by a good friend of ours on the channel, Adam Sliger. As you can see, I bought this in 2024 when it was released. This is great. It's really specific to producers, so it kind of has like project planning in it. You can do like contact lists for all of your clients that you're working with. This one's really good for actually working as like a project manager for your productions. But if they're not doing a bunch of hired productions and if they don't need a specific producer planner, you can always get them a really cool custom planner from somebody like Papier. This is one that I've had for years. I get new ones from them all the time when I get into my planning zone. So if you're looking for a good planner, Papier has really good ones that you can customize. You can get them embossed with their name. If you want something that's a little bit more tailored towards producer, this one by Make That Louder, Adam Sliger producer planner is amazing. It's like $17, so kind of a no-brainer. The next one that I want to talk about, and this is where we will kind of leave off, is custom coasters. I think so many studios have just drinks sitting everywhere. Whether it's sitting on gear or wood, I don't want moisture collecting everywhere. I don't want, condensation all over my desk, leaving little rings. I don't want people leaving their stuff where water's kind of dripping off onto my gear. So get somebody a cool set of coasters. Etsy has some really cool ones. This is like a nice little turntable set that you could get. You can also do something where you kind of print their favorite album art on coasters to where they can kind of have little mementos of, really inspirational albums that they might love and listen to all the time. I kind of get coasters from little local markets here. This is like a carpet coaster. I like this one because it actually, soaks up some of the moisture and condensation. Something like these acrylic coasters, you will still have, little puddles of water. So if that's going to be an issue, if they're not going to be using that insulated water bottle that you also bought them from earlier in this video, get them something that actually can soak up the moisture. But either way, whether they're in a water bottle or not, I think having coasters in the studio is a great way to just kind of keep your desk looking clean, keep your gear kind of organized and straight. When people are coming into the studio, they can easily just grab a coaster and set their drink down. Again, $35 for a nice little set of 4. These are $25 for a set of 4. Not too bad at all. You can also find them at tons of local businesses. As you can tell, big fan of shopping local, but I know producers can be really, really hard to buy for. I know musicians can be hard to buy for. If you're a producer or a musician watching this, I know it can be hard to want to like grab little impulse purchases that don't cost hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of dollars. So this is just 10 things that are under $50 that I think make great additions for any producer or musician's life. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. But once again, my name's Austin. This is Make Pop Music. I hope you have an amazing holiday season. Get a good gift for somebody you love. Much love. Peace.